Hey everybody, so we're going to start this video out a little bit differently. Yes, we are talking about the camper, and yes, we will work on it. But first we have to get the parts. So I've had these sitting for quite some time now, and these are all the parts for the electrical system so far. I have a few more, which is just some butt connectors with seals and some extra wire coming, which will hopefully be here in a couple days, and then we can really start to hammer down the interior once we know exactly how everything's going to fit together. The lights are a big component of this. I want them to be kind of sleek and hidden, so we're going to have to work on that. Plus, we did make it just over the width of a piece of plywood. Probably should have done the math on that and figured out how to make it the width of a piece of plywood, but it will turn out looking great when it's done. So, first bag we have here is a little switch holder. This is just going to make it look really clean, be able to just cut out a hole, pop it in there, and this holds two switches. So, what I have right here is a USB switch. It's red, so the blue light won't hurt your eyes when you're trying to sleep and be overly bright, since red light is much better for you. I can pull this out and show you exactly what it is, but very simple. Just two USB outputs. It's a 5 volt at 3.1 amps. If anybody cares about that, going to be super helpful. Especially since it'll allow me to keep phones charged and the Osmo charged, since that charges off a USB. See, that's really all I wanted for this camper. Originally, we might add some more stuff, not sure yet. Depends on how much space we have when it's done. Inside of bag number 2, just one item, and that is the switch, which I actually did find one that was properly labeled, and that is the interior light switch. That's that is the other thing this is going to have, is really just USB power and lights for at night, in case you want to do any reading or anything like that. Lights will be super nice to have on the inside of the camper. I also don't have many windows on the rear end where the cabinets are, so having some light in that area will be super helpful during the day as well, I imagine. And finally, we got our biggest bag. In here is going to be one. Oh, yes. I do know what this is. So, I am to keep everything charged, putting a 5-watt trickle charger on it, and probably going to use a Power Sports ATV battery, something along those lines. That is 12 volt. So, in order to run solar power wires through, this is a little pass-through. This is going to get screwed on after being glued, silicone, however, and obviously it's screwed onto the top. It has these two little plugs, which will probably have to be siliconed as well to make the wire fit, because I think the wire is going to be too big for them. But that'll be a nice thing to have so that there's no rainwater getting in. That'll be really interesting because I know exactly how I want to run this. So it's going to require a little bit of pre-planning. Up next, we have the little switch or fuse panel. It's a little fuse block, only 6, so I can add more to it. So far we're only going to have 2 switches on it. I might add a third, which would be a voltmeter. I did not order that yet. We'll see how this goes. But comes that, screws right in. This will be super neat and super handy to have because it means I only have to deal with making one ground wire. That Go back in the box. It also came with a bunch of stickers for labeling them, so I can make cabin lights as one of them, as well as I'm sure there's one for USB power or something. We'll figure it out. Oddly enough, they have a refrigerator on there, which we are not planning to put on this one. Maybe the next one. And last but not least in this bag, we have the lights themselves. And you're looking at these thinking, what? That's not what you typically use. And let me explain. So, what this is 6 1-foot sections of super bright waterproofed LED strips. So it's a little bit bigger once I actually unroll it and hold it out. My plan is to put 2 of these kind of in the entranceway where the cabinets are going to be, along with 4 more in the actual like bed area of the camper. My plan was to kind of stick them on the roof or stick them at an angle in hopes that I can hide them a little bit, since they do look a little funky, but it should be fine. These are supposed to be super bright, and honestly, I don't want it to be overly bright because it's meant to be a little bit stealthy, but not necessarily out of control with the amount of stuff in it. I'm also realizing just how long this video is now, so I might go work on this for a few minutes and then I'm going to cut it off. But for the moment, if you like this, if you find what I'm doing interesting, if you want to know more, please like, comment, share, subscribe down below. It really helps me out, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so as you can see, my nose is very sunburned in this light, but we got this piece of Luan up here. It's just temporarily held in place so that I can check how it's gonna fit. Like I said, it's barely wider. It's like maybe half an inch on both sides. And this piece is also not exactly cut square, which is concerning because it's straight from the factory. But what I'm thinking for the lights is just gonna go one right there on either side, so just one kind of space back from the window. And since it's so close, I think I can do like a hidden little rail bounce off the ceiling type of thing maybe. We'll see how bright these are and what they look like, but we'll be able to do that. And then since it goes all the way back to here, I'm thinking just one in the front too. Maybe just do the back corner instead of the right next to the window, and then kind of do right up in there, even though there's going to be a window right there. So hopefully that'll turn out pretty well. We should be set to put all these interior sides on. We need to pick up some more Luan, and we still need to do the FRP on the exterior for the top. As you can see way up there, it's still got nothing on it. We have to cut the hole for those 2 windows, as well as cut holes, or the hole for the vent on the roof, and then we should be good to go. We found somebody who has a welder who can help us weld it. That would make it, or will make it, a lot easier, especially once I get all the other parts that are going to have to come with it. I'm going to replace the axle because the Dayton axle's not very good. Tires running at 100 psi off-road is not going to be the way to go. So I'm going to sell that, maybe make a little bit of money to pay for a new axle. A new axle probably will be $300, maybe with the tires, depending on the deal I can find. And I think I'm going to go with Dexter, I believe is the brand, and which is general axle that's made in America, I believe. Super easy to find parts and components at any auto store. So other than that, like I said earlier, have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends and family. and I will see you with some more progress on the next one.